Hey there. Today we're going to talk about something that can feel a little intimidating, but is absolutely crucial for every single small business owner out there: interest rates. From the local bakery to the growing tech startup, this is a force you have to understand to survive, and more importantly, to thrive. So let's jump right in.
So what is an interest rate, really? The easiest way to think about it is right here. It's the price of money. Simple as that. It's what it costs you to borrow, whether you're financing a new delivery truck, using a line of credit to manage payroll, or just putting inventory on the company credit card. It's a fundamental cost of doing business.
Now, I love this analogy. Think of interest rates as the entire economy's thermostat. You've got central banks, like the Fed, and it's their job to control that temperature. If the economy is running too hot and inflation is a problem, they turn the thermostat up by raising rates to cool things down. If things are slow and sluggish, they turn it down to heat things up and encourage people to borrow and spend.
But here's the thing. When that thermostat gets adjusted, not everybody feels the change in the same way. Big corporations, they often have massive cash reserves, kind of like a well-insulated building. But small businesses, well, they tend to feel that temperature shift right away, and they feel it intensely. Let's dig into why that is.
You know, small businesses are really the heart of our communities, but they often operate on a razor's edge. They really depend on outside funding, right? We're talking bank loans just to keep the cash flowing, credit cards for those immediate needs, and loans to get the equipment that makes their business run. And unlike a huge company with a giant bank account, they just don't have that big financial cushion to absorb a sudden spike in costs. So even a tiny change in rates can become a really big deal really fast.
Okay, so what does this actually feel like when you're in the trenches running your business day to day? Well, it's kind of like being on a roller coaster. The ups and the downs have these direct, very real effects, not just on your bottom line, but on how your customers think and spend too.
This really lays it out, side by side. On one side, you've got rising rates. That's the scary part of the ride going up. Your loans cost more, your customers start getting nervous and spending less, and you might have to slam the brakes on those big expansion plans. On the flip side, when rates fall, borrowing gets cheaper and new opportunities for growth can pop up. But, and this is a big but, look at that last point on the right. Sometimes, falling rates are a warning sign that the whole economy is in a slump. All right, let's make this real. Forget the abstract stuff for a second. Let's picture a local landscaping company. They've got loans for their trucks, their mowers, all their gear, and these are variable rate loans, which means the payments can go up or down. Now imagine the Fed decides it's time to turn up that economic thermostat. What happens next?
This. A 2% rate hike doesn't sound like a lot, does it? But for them, it suddenly adds an extra $450 to their payments every single month. Now, where does that money come from? Do they take it out of their already thin profits? Do they have to cut their cruise hours? Or do they raise prices on their customers? None of those are good options, and it just shows how these huge national decisions hit home on a local level.
So you're probably thinking, okay, rising rates are painful, so falling rates must be amazing news, right? Well, not always. It's a bit of a trap. See, lower rates can be a signal that the economy is weak. So even though it's cheaper for you to borrow money, your customers might be too worried about their own jobs to actually spend it. It's like the old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Okay, so we've diagnosed the problem, and it can feel a little daunting. I get it. But here's the good news. You are not helpless in this. It's time to open up the playbook because there are absolutely actionable things you can do to navigate whatever the economy throws at you. All right, when you feel those rates starting to climb, it's time to play some serious defense. First thing, get on the phone with your lender. See if you can lock in a fixed rate so your payments are predictable. Second, get ruthless about your budget. Scrutinize every single expense to protect your cash. Third, double down on the customers you already have. Now is the time for amazing service and loyalty rewards. And finally, don't forget to look at community banks or local credit unions. They're often way more flexible and invested in your success.
Now, what about when that roller coaster starts heading down and rates are falling? This is when you get to go on offense. It's the perfect time to refinance your existing debt and lower your monthly payments. You can start funding smart growth, but be realistic about it. Use the money you're saving to build up that rainy day fund, and think about investing in things that will make you more efficient in the long run, like better software or new equipment.
You know, theory is great, but let's see how this playbook works in the real world. I want to tell you a quick story about a hardware store owner who saw the writing on the wall about rising rates and decided to be proactive.
This guy didn't just sit back and wait for disaster to strike. He took action.
First, he went straight to his bank and locked in his loan at a fixed rate. Then, he went through his books and trimmed all the fat, any spending that wasn't absolutely essential. And instead of trying to chase new customers who were already tightening their belts, he put all his energy into his loyal, repeat customers. Simple steps, right? But they were incredibly smart.
And here's the payoff. His store made it through the storm. Meanwhile, his local competitors, the ones who were caught off guard with those variable rate credit lines, their cash flow just completely dried up. It's such a stark example of how being prepared isn't just a good idea, it's a literal survival strategy. But it's so easy to get lost in the numbers, the percentages, and the spreadsheets. We have to remember there's a massive human element to all of this. These shifts affect real people, your customers, your team, and you.
Think about it. When rates go up, a wave of caution just washes over everyone. People get nervous. And when they fall, you can almost feel the optimism returning. But don't forget your employees. They're feeling the pinch in their own lives, which creates uncertainty and can really impact morale. Your job as a leader is to be that calm, steady hand on the wheel. Clear, confident communication is everything.
And you've got to see the bigger picture too. Think of the economy like a set of dominoes. The Fed raises mortgage rates, that's the first domino to fall. Okay, so home construction slows down, boom, second domino. That means contractors and suppliers are hit next. They cut back their spending, and suddenly even the local cafe where their employees grab lunch starts to feel it. Understanding that whole chain reaction is a huge strategic advantage.
So when you put it all together, what does it really mean? It means navigating these cycles is about more than just managing your money well. It's a leadership mindset. It's about being aware and using that awareness to turn all this uncertainty into your strategic advantage.
And here's the bottom line. If you remember one thing from all of this, let it be this. Preparedness begins with knowledge. The moment you start paying attention to these trends and understanding what's going on, you shift from a place of anxiety to a place of action. You stop being a victim of the economy and you start becoming the architect of your business's future.
Because, make no mistake, the next economic shift is always just around the corner. That's a guarantee. So the only question that really matters is, when it gets here, will you be caught off guard, just reacting to the chaos? Or will you be ready, with a plan in hand, ready to meet the moment? The choice, really, is yours.